And joining us now, Locked On Titans host, Tyler Rowland. Tyler, look, so I'm sure you have these guys that the Titans pick up in day 3 of a particular draft, and you're like, you just kind of become fond of them. It's like, all right, I think this guy's going to crack the roster, be a potential Pro Bowler one day. That was Roger McCreary for me, a former 3-star guy. As soon as he stepped foot on campus, like, this guy is going to be something special. And my listeners are annoyed by how much I talk about and how much I love Roger McCreary. He's a Tennessee Titan now. I would love to know your initial thoughts when you saw, okay, the Titans are using their second-round pick on Roger McCreary.
Well, I got to tell you, and as you know, I instantly texted you. I was a little confused, no lie.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew McCreary was a good player who's probably going to get taken in that second tier of cornerbacks, but the Titans just drafted Caleb Farley in the first round last year. They also drafted Elijah Molden, who had a big role on the defense as a rookie last year. They drafted Christian Fulton in round 2 the year before that. So I was like, the Titans are going cornerback instead of wide receiver, offensive line, quarterback, all the other things that they need. So I was instantly shocked. But as I talked to you, I dove into more of who McCreary is as a player. I thought more about how the Titans could use him schematically and how he could make perfect sense within the defense. It kind of became clear how good of a pick it was at 35. And John Robinson noted it in his press conference after the draft. The cornerback run went pretty hot and heavy after the Titans picked McCreary. So if they didn't pick him, they probably weren't going to be able to get a cornerback of his level. So you got to like the pick. You like the value. And I think after thinking about it, he could fit very well within the Titans defense.
So what do you think that looks like? Is he an inside corner? Didn't play a whole lot of inside at Auburn. Did play inside when asked to at Senior Bowl practices. Do you think that's what he's going to be asked to do? Will they try him at outside corner? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think in a situation where you have Caleb Farley on the outside, and you have Christian Fulton on the outside on the Titans defense. And I think in a situation where Caleb Farley's rehab from a torn ACL doesn't go as planned, or Caleb Farley did struggle even when he saw the field last year when he was healthy. If he just doesn't go as planned in general, then McCreary probably has the ability to go out and play some outside corner. But I think in his rookie season, where he could truly have a defined role. So what the Titans like to do is they play Elijah Molden from Washington, drafted last year, as their slot cornerback. In the NFL, it's mostly sub package. There's not a lot of base being played. It's sub packages with 4 down linemen, 2 linebackers, and 5 defensive backs. So when the Titans have to go to sub packages and nickel on early downs, they bring Elijah Molden in as the slot corner so that he can defend the run, fill the run, blitz off the slot, play some zone coverage, what he does well. Well, on third downs, they would take Elijah Molden out of the slot and off the field, and they would bring in veteran Buster Screen because he was more adept as a man cover corner in the slot, and then they would leave their 2 outside guys. Well, I think that McCreary has the chance to be that third down passing slot for the Titans, where he could play one-on-one man coverage in the slot, on passing downs, on third downs, and kind of take that role over for Molden as the kind of tag team on the slot for the Titans. So that's how I profile him into the Titans defense. I think he could carve out a role in year 1. And then, as things go with Farley and the 2 outside corners, he could potentially have a role outside if needed. I think he has the potential to do that, but early on, I see him in the slot on passing downs and passing situations for the Titans.
Do they typically do some bump and run, play the slot guys closer to the line of scrimmage? That's where Roger was his best. I mean, obviously he can learn and adjust, but how do they typically use those kind of defensive backs?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So the Titans do a mix of things. Of course, they're a versatile defense, a varied defense. They run cover 6, they run cover 4, they run man, they run zone. They vary it all up. But also, when the chips are on the table, the Titans play man coverage. That's what and he even said that in his press conference after the draft, talking about Roger McCreary. He was saying, we want to mix it up. We want to play zone, blah, 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 but we want to be able to play man. And we think this guy can come in right away, be in the slot, press cover. One thing I love about McCreary is his transitions. His press man transitions when he's obviously in a backpedal situation at first. He's pressing, backpedaling, and then as he flips his hips to run with the receiver, man, he is smooth and fluid in doing that. So although he doesn't have the longest arms, the physical nature, the strong hands, the ability to get up in somebody's chest and then to turn and run with them out of that all makes him a great option as a slot corner who can press, and the Titans ask their slot corners to press a ton.
Talk about, how the Titans fan base reacted to the news that Roger McCreary would be a second-round pick for you guys.
Well, I love that. That is so classic journalism. Talk about why, just classic stuff there, professional. Well, I think that the fan base was, like me, a little confused. Didn't really see a need at cornerback. You thought maybe they would add some depth there at some point in the draft, but to use a pick that early on
Yeah.
cornerback when it seemed, again, this all comes back to Elijah Molden. Elijah Molden was awesome for the Titans as a rookie. He was just great in his role. And by the end of the year, he's one of the best players on the defense. So everybody loves Elijah Molden. They like what he's doing and thinking he's going to increase his role this year. So to come in and say, hey, Titans might have made this pick to take Molden off the field on third downs. Well, a lot of people like me reacted to that like, wait a minute. Why would we
Why
take
would you take him off the field? Right.
Molden off? But think about the way that Molden was used and think about Molden's skill set. And again, like I said, they take him off the field on pure passing situations because he doesn't have the press man coverage skill set. And I think that there's a chance that Elijah Molden, who has some safety abilities, could be slowly converted to, because the Titans have Amani Hooker who played at Iowa. He's their starting safety along with the first team All-Pro Kevin Byard. Well, Amani Hooker's going to be a free agent after the year, and it's no secret that the Titans cap situation is a little murky. So if they have to let Amani Hooker go, because he could get a big deal, he's a very good safety and a very underrated player. If they have to let him go, Elijah Molden, who has some safety skills, could potentially be phased into a safety role, which would then open up that slot every down role for McCreary by year 2. So when you look at it, not just for this year in this role, but you look at it for next year, and I kind of intimated that sentiment to the fan base. And I don't want to sit and talk like I speak to every Titans fan, and every Titans fan in existence listens to what I say, but
Speak to a lot of them, though.
Yeah, it is the number 1 ranked Titans podcast in the world. Proudly say, let's go, Locked On Empire. But
right.
I think after fans kind of got a whiff of what McCreary's role was and what his skill set was and how that could make sense in the Titans defense and what kind of role he could play, I think fans were like, yeah, this is a good pick, good selection.
Yeah. I think the world of Roger, I think you're going to really like covering him. I'm fascinated to see how they use him. I think he's an outside guy, but the arm thing may limit him. I mean, I think some staffs are going to look at that. And I mean, I heard some staff say that they just took him off their boards altogether with his arms being 2 inches too short and mobile.
Yeah. Some teams have length requirements.
Right. Yeah. And if that's what you need, if that's what you're looking for to build your team, then Roger's not it. But
sure.
Yeah, I mean, just, what he did in the SEC, I thought was really, really impressive. And so a lot of Auburn fans became Titans fans over the course of the weekend because he was our only guy that got drafted. So everybody's all fired up about Roger. So if folks want to follow Roger and follow the Titans, what's the best way for them to do that?
Obviously, the Locked On Titans podcast, 5 days a week, breaking it down. Locked On Titans YouTube channel. Subscribe over there. My crazy musings are on Twitter at Tic Tac Titans.